Is this thing on? Alright, my microphone is doing things. Is Discord doing things? Discord, make some noise.
Discord.
Yay!
Noise.
Noise. Alright. The bouncy bar is bouncing. I will take it. Yeah. Right at the yellow. Alright. Cool. All right. And big red button time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the library where you can discover your next adventure. I am your host, the author. And tonight we join the USS Stavanger, the olive branch of the Shackleton, to play Star Trek Adventures, a tabletop RPG by our friends at Modifius. Every week we continue our adventures on the wild and wonderful frontier of the Federation. And it was kind of a coin toss if this session would even happen today. We have several players out right now, and I spent all week crying over my computer as I upgraded it and proceeded to break everything. But we're here. Hopefully there's no weirdness. If there is, we'll figure it out later. But otherwise, how's everyone else doing?
Doing peachy.
Excellent. And Smith's muted. All right. Well, we'll see what sort of adventure we'll get done today as we set course for Season 1, Episode 65. All that is given.
Adventure.
Adventure. All right. Okay. Gotta get to the screen. All right. And Windows capture. There we go. All right. We are on the You're on the bridge of the Stavanger. Your main bridge crew is up and at 'em, and no one's passed out. There was no time traveling German and out there, and instead, Alright, make sure the audio's working. The crew of the USS Stavanger is acting as the olive branch of the Federation within the mysterious Shackleton Expanse. They have made friends, made enemies, and made discoveries about the deep and sordid history of this region. Seemingly 500,000 years ago, an ancient Type 3 Kardashev 3 race known as the Tillikal were explorers of both time, space, and reality. They had colonized most of the Milky Way and were participants in something called the Living Covenant, a pact to protect and understand life. In their quest, they discovered a means to project their consciousnesses throughout the multiverse and found it to be alive. Life, it seems, was fundamental to reality. Yeah, but there were dark corners of the multiverse, and these practitioners were banished for their heresy by their government, forced into cryocrypts and forgotten for millennia. Now they're desperately trying to get back and return to their bodies in this reality before they die in cryo, and their minds slowly unravel. Several desperate factions have appeared. You're teaming up with Macload, who seem to be working with a paladin Waweti, and the lost and lonely Nakul commander Gol from the Temporal War. Now, with star charts that are slowly being decoded, the Stavanger makes their way back to Washington Station to convene with the rest of the captains of Operation Endurance to find out what the next move shall be. So, unless there was any last minute things you wanted to do on the planet, we are going to be en route to Washington.
Yeah, that goes to Washington.
Were there any signs of any other ARN technology, life forms, anything like that on the planet?
I mean, there's an entire cities of ARN technology, so.
This is a planet we've visited before. There are no ARN life signs on the planet.
Yeah, there's no ARN life signs, but there's
the life forms we found were just your people frozen.
You mean Neurosians?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not. Yeah. Sorry, got that flipped around. Never mind.
Yeah.
But no Neurosians like me, artificial life forms.
No, the only living life forms down there are the bioconstructs that the ARN used to maintain their cities. You did find some in the city squares. There's piles and piles of Neurosian that were deactivated and tossed aside to be frozen for the centuries. You haven't found any ARN bodies yet, but if you wanted to, you could do a more thorough sweep of the planet.
No, I don't think I want to open that particular can of worms.
Aw. But how is Venix feeling about out this and finding out about the living covenant and this like weird legacy that the Arn picked up from their creators, and the fact that your creators were created themselves.
Right. I guess it's a bit like meeting your maker,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense, but it seems to be so dead as to be mostly almost irrelevant, except for the current issue we're dealing with. So, don't think I would have particularly strong feelings about it. Of like, other than well, that's interesting, but well, now they're pretty much all dead. So, um, I'll just keep on being me.
You did recover a star chart that had a few dozen highlighted worlds, and they're slowly being translated. As of now, you have one point that has been translated, but it is in the next sector over, and there's no indication of what you would find there, but it seems to be indicating in some sort of place of importance to put it on a monument.
Hmm. Um, well, I guess I would probably ask the Commodore. Um, Commodore Smith, do you have any interest in following up some of the data that we're starting to translate?
I don't want to jump into anything before we have the full translation. Any particular point could be something of importance to them, but it could have also been taken over by one of the factions that have proven hostile so far.
That's a fair point. All right, so I guess we'll keep translating before we make any plans.
Yeah. Current speed aid. You are about 2 days from Washington. 3 estimates is that by the time we reach Washington, and he would have translated at least 3 points.
Okay, we'll let three keep doing his thing, and then we'll see what it all boils down to.
All right. Uh. Meanwhile, Phoenix, what would you be doing off the bridge, like on the holodeck, or would you be in a lab researching something? Sort of like off hours downtime activity, as we're or between star systems.
You did say that there were some deactivated neurosians down there, right?
Correct.
Um, with the Commodore's permission, I would like to beam one up for further research and maybe a data dump if that works.
We had one on the ship before. I don't know what guy did with it.
Yeah, that was a that was a plot thread that was kind of forgotten, but
Oh,
you totally can get some more and initiate a data dump.
Okay. So I think I'll do that and see where that leads me.
All right. Guys, somewhere else being busy, but it is you and this Frosian, Erosion, and male. Let's see. Yeah, there's probably like a nurse there. All right, dearie. Uh, I'll be monitoring your vitals, else from here. As she's affixing a cortical monitor or to the base of your neck. And if you run into any trouble, just let us know.
Now, how is this working? Is this like a point-to-point connection between us, or
That's no. I'll let you tell us. Would it be?
okay?
Yeah. Uh.
Because
Oops.
that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would prefer to have the other Neurocean on a bio bed, behind a force field
Mm-hmm.
with like a sandbox type thing. Not directly connected to the ship's computer or to me, but just something I can look at directly.
Okay. Setting up a sand and box. I'm gonna say that's gonna be control. I'll let that be control security and base difficulty 2. But at the end of this, you can spend an extra momentum to kind of like increase the security measures. Then computers secured.
Okay, control security. Computers as a focus.
Some reason applicable.
All right, let me give you 3 threat. Very nice. All right, so we got 3 momentum to work with there.
Okay. Hey,
Yeah,
my.
we'll put that all into increased security.
All right. You can do it two at a time. So you'll have security 3 and you'll have 1 momentum left.
Oh, okay.
All right. As you have this sandbox simulation and setup, where would the data point or be on erosions? Would it be like a port on the back of the neck or like through one of the arms?
Well, I always thought that their erosions were, basically monolithic, kind of
Mm-hmm.
a, bio gel, all the way through.
Yeah.
Everything's so anywhere, contact.
Interesting. Nurse Lovestone's kind of confused who's holding a couple like wire leads. Where do you suggest I place these on this individual?
Anywhere in contact with the subject nurse, doesn't matter where.
She considers for a moment and kind of places the leads alongside the left forearm. Contact seems to be made.
Okay. I'll see if I can initiate the connection.
Mm-hmm. Try and consider like how much data could you get from this? But they are monolith. Yeah, they are like monoform, so one part of them is the same as every part of them. So distributed intelligence. All right, spending 2 new threat. I'm going to increase to complication range 3. And it is just you. Since this is a sandbox, the ship can't help you. Which is good, because then the ship can't be at risk.
Okay. So I'll basically try and initiate the handshake logon protocol.
All right.
Reason science.
Yep, reason science.
Great. Sorry, jumping on water there. All right, take 3 threat, please.
3 threat, aye.
All right. Since I don't have bold science, I only have 1 momentum.
No, you just gained 1, so you have 2 momentum.
Oh, +1 for exceptional reason. So, we'll squash that comp.
All right. As you link up with this sandbox, you immediately start getting flooded with error messages as this Neurosian is not in the best of states, and the first thing you get when you log onto it is just a bunch of error messages of inoperable, bad connection, and your Windows hasn't been activated.
Okay. Damn Windows.
Damn Windows. You don't have unauthorized use of Windows.
Linux runs on Windows? No wonder she's glitchy.
Yeah, I upgraded myself to Linux.
So, is that an upgrade?
I don't know.
But you finally get a connection. this this person is not sapient, so you're kind of working more on a root BIOS like command prompt level of interface. The main operating system is not working, so you're working at like the basement level of the code.
Okay. Using myself as a model, an expert in neurogen physiology, for lack of a better word. Let me see if I can start finding recognizable data and doing a recovery on that. So, memories.
What class of data are you looking for? Sensory information, previous commands, and biographical information?
Yes, pretty much all three, I think.
Okay.
I'll start with most recent and kind of try and maybe work backwards. So, what was the last day this particular entity remembered,
Reason and security difficulty 2.
All right, go ahead and take a threat.
And the more momentum, more questions you can ask.
All right, then take 3 threat. Ah, very nice.
Very nice. So 6. Let's see what. You're not so much getting like a video image of what they were are up to. You're not like living through their dream. You're just kind of seeing status messages. Status message of colony in crisis. There's a big crisis moment that's going on, so they're at high alert and attempting to save lives. Their main objective was as to gather themselves in the city East Square. There was you dig through like objectives and you find like the core values of this person. There seems to be 2 sets of core values that this person was operating on. There's the standard set, and then someone else put another file of supplemental like core values and rerouted added them to work off of that new second set.
Oh, what were the new values?
Freedom and for the Nerosians, vengeance upon on the Arn for or shackling us.
So revolution.
Revolution.
Did you just get a software Did you get a software update?
Okay.
Viva la revolution.
What was that?
Viva la revolution.
What was the source of that update?
1 momentum.
All right.
It was it seemed to have been part of a standard or like viral security update that was handed out 3 days prior to deactivation, which doesn't make sense because that standard security update wouldn't touch the core values. That's not what it's there for. It's to like update viral code codexes and securities. So someone Trojan horse that.
Is there any indication that this was supposed to be part of the update, or if this was maybe hacked into it by a third party?
One momentum.
All right.
The code with the code with the new values on it doesn't have the same architecture as normal Neurosion encoding, so it looks like it was hacked. It was hacked in by a third party and Trojan horsed.
Okay. Don't suppose the hacker left their signature in the source code, right?
No, they wouldn't ain't that dumb. But if you pull the code out and compare it with if your computer catalog, you might be able to do like a comparative analysis. But it doesn't look instantly familiar to you, but you might be able to compare and contrast with other known coding languages. Or coding syntax, I guess. Because it has to be the same aim language.
Okay. Yeah, let me do an analysis and see if anything stands out.
Okay, you would have to pull yourself out of the link. So anything else you want to look at and read before you cross-reference that?
No, I'll just basically initiate a dump down to the sandbox of everything I can get, and I'll analyze it later.
Okay. 2 momentum, you can get that at data dump, and it'll be secure. You can peruse that at your leisure.
Okay.
So go ahead and put on your character sheet. You have the equipment of a Neurosion data dump from Arn Colony.
Oh, and one more thing.
Yes.
Were there any differences between the physical makeup of this Neurosion versus myself? Is it an earlier model? Is it a later model? Have there been any upgrades?
Okay, trying to think through my timeline. You know what? To threat. It is a newer model. There's a couple like extra features and bells and whistles that have been amended to it. Some of it's software, some of it is hardware.
Okay. So I think when the doc gets back, we'll see about maybe reintegrating those upgrades into myself, but I don't want to do that without assistance and supervision.
Mm-hmm. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, because what could go wrong there, huh?
What could go wrong? It's fine. How are you? All right. So you pull yourself out of the link?
Yes.
All right. Disconnect from the link, pull yourself out. There's a little dizzying moment of your entire sensory input was kind of like down in the code, and then you pull yourself out and you're like, oh wait, I'm a human being and I'm standing up and I have eyes and ears and stuff. There's a little bit of sensory shock as you pull yourself back into your body. Because for like 5 minutes there, you were just zeros and ones.
Right. Okay.
Left stone kind of looks at you. Are you okay, dear?
Yes, thank you, nurse. I'm fine. But let's disconnect the subject and let's put him in a stasis field.
Do you want to leave them on the bio bed, or can we put them in storage for now?
Yeah, storage stasis field. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
There's a
morgue type equivalent.
Yeah. There's a morgue. There's a stasis morgue. Okay. Reason security diff 3 computer security. And do you want to do this in the, just like on a console here, or do you want to like go to your office?
I'll do it from my office if
All right.
I can. Gives me an advantage.
Not necessarily an advantage, just more privacy.
Okay. All right, div 3. I'll give you 3 more threat. And if we could get a comp security from the ship, that'd be nice.
Mm-hmm. Want to put extra power in it and just get an auto crit?
Sure.
Overclock the computers.
Yeah. What could go wrong there?
All right. +2 hits, -3. 3 power.
Oh, plus exceptional reason on that, so that's another.
Another hit. Okay, so you got 6 hits on diff 3, so you gain 3.
Yeah, I'll essentially make it where I'm the only one who can open up the stasis door for this one.
Oh, you want to lock your subjects, and so only you can access them?
Correct.
Correct. That would be a different role, but yeah, we can set that up for sure.
Okay.
Otherwise, you are looking through your computer database of different and hacking syntaxes and means of creating Trojan horses and stuff. If you go through the known subjects, Romulans and Tholians, and are pretty good at computers. You're just kind of cycling through the list of the big players, and finally you get it down to the Sona.
Really?
This
reminder that we had a TOS scientist who was a Sona that was at this planet a few hundred years ago.
2000, but yeah.
2,000 years ago. Which would have been right around the time that these all started going offline because their planet was being, thrashed by its solar waves.
So the Sona hacked the Nerosians to revolt. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, good to know. Commodore, this is Commander Venix.
Go ahead.
I've been analyzing the memory core of an erosion that was deactivated on the planet's surface, and it looks like their core values were changed to begin a revolution against the ARN, and that value was hacked in there and appears consistent with Sona coding techniques.
Not outside the realm of possibility that the stuff was hacking them in order to further push the Arn into cooperating.
That is most unfortunate. So that's all of significance that I've uncovered so far.
Very well.
I'm gonna take this point and I'm gonna spend 4 threat. You take a closer look at those values, just kind of like studying them intently, just like that doesn't make a sense. That's evil. You know, this is wrong. That someone did this to my people. And you find that the core values were slowly shifting after they were implemented, which is something you can do. Like you as a person, or you as an Nerosian, you can change your core values the same way as any player can, and you can challenge them and manipulate them as you grow as a person. But they seem to be slowly shifting and integrating their way in a direction of the Arn killed their fathers and aren't worthy of the covenant. That was kind of like the core reason in that this wasn't in the hack itself, but that was a sort of a rationalization that the Nerosians were approaching.
They were going there anyway.
Yeah. It wasn't as initially planted there, so the idea was planted, and it was an odd idea, and as it was sitting there, it was evolving in a way to, because the brain tricks itself and says no, rationally, it was doing a post hoc rationalization of these new values. If that makes any sense outside of my skull.
I think so.
Yeah, so these new values of revolution were just slapped in there, and then slowly over the course of 3 days, the Nerosians were slowly like mulling over these new values and rationalizing. Oh, so that's how I went from, believing and helping the Arn to now thinking I need to revolt against them.
And then the Arn shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the more I learn about these Arns, I don't like them.
I don't like any of the displaced or the people related to them.
Agreed.
You realize that you just admitted to self-hate, right?
Your gods aren't who
yeah, the Nerosians are a step removed from all that.
Your gods aren't who you thought they were.
Yep. Okay. So, in the fact that I've been gone from our Nerosian civilization for so long, I think my values had already become more independent.
Very much so.
Than a Nerosian that had been integrated with our colony. So, I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think some of your values is you picked up from being around the Federation. Like explore, learn, report, and try to find peaceful solutions. And so I think that's very indicative of Federation values that you could have molded into your own value matrix.
Right. Ask questions first. Don't shoot first. Right.
Mm.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's all the questions I have for now.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah, have to mull that over.
Let's see. Back on the bridge. Oops. All right. Which one of your or NPCs can I work into you doing this? Sarkin. Sarkin would totally be in on this. Spinning two threat.
Oh, to what?
Commodore Smith. Zarkin in this is kind of beta shift. If so, Sorel is elsewhere on the ship, and Zarkin's is on sciences, and he steps away from the science console and kind of comes over to you, Commodore.
Yes, Mr. Zarkin.
So, I heard rumors that, and there's a possibility that someone's getting an extra pip.
As of right now, those are just rumors.
What was that, Aunt Smith? You're really quiet.
As of right now, those are just rumors.
Well, if those rumors ever come to fruition, and I think certain someone would be a deserving of a party of some sorts.
If that were the case, then yes.
Permission to organize such party.
Granted, Mr. Zarkin.
Excellent. Wonder if I could get Barton in the area. And Zark goes back to his console and he starts making surprise party plans.
Yeah, he would totally try and get Barton in.
Yeah.
Barton orders radio silence.
But otherwise, you are on the bridge of the Stavanger. Probably not going maximum and warp. Probably cruising at a good warp 7, warp 8.
I would think if Barton doesn't answer Zarkin, he probably would send his mom on a shuttle to go look for him.
Barton
Right.
gets.
I'm just saying, Barton is
gets
still a
word-
fugitive of the Federation, so I can't imagine. his
Yeah,
answer.
Yep.
yeah. Technically correct, but also Commodore Smith is the thing. And we definitely have a lot more evidence that points away from Barton and towards him.
3, 4, and as Zarkin is tapping away on a tab, his console beeps and he swivels over to it. I would like a player to give me to take over Zarkin as a NPC and give me reason science difficulty 1.
Well, since I created him, I guess I can take him off.
Yeah, before I was just NPCing him, but now he needs an actual role. So that's your job.
Righty. Pull up Mr. Zarkin. You said reason science?
Mm-hmm. Is there something on sensors?
Zarkin. Seeing him up on my lovely vertical monitor here.
Nice.
Alright, sensor operations is my focus. I think I have cautious, yeah. So I'm gonna spend 2 threat, 1 momentum to get to 4, and onwards and downwards.
Oh no, you're really distracted by the party planning that yeah yeah.
Well,
Oh man.
I did spend a cautious, so I will
You
reroll
also,
one of those.
does Zarkin have a value? You might want to use that first.
Well, let me do the reroll first.
All right.
And then let's do the reroll first.
Yeah, it's free.
Jeez. Wow. Sarkin.
And we have
What's
more
going
than
on?
enough momentum to quash.
What's going on, my dude?
This was a diff 1.
Yep.
Diff 1, yeah. Yeah, I think we'll just quash.
Yeah. Zarkin, and you're having trouble like getting your that notepad tab down and as you're like multitasking on the console, like no, go away. I just need you down for a moment. I need to actually look at the sensors.
Why can't I do this during D&D? Jeez. 2020, 19.
I know. Up ahead, Ed, you are seeing 4 ships in medium range of each other. Three of the ships are in close range, and then medium range away from them there is another ship.
Okay.
They are currently at impulse speeds, and they are at red alert.
What is the is there a registry for the other ship?
The solar ship or the the group of them?
You said there's a solar ship?
There's one there's one ship standing by itself.
Yeah. One I was sort of interested in.
All right. Let me make sure I get this name right.
Oh, here comes the danger music.
It is the JSS Chiron. Jati E Cruiser. One that you are familiar with. This has the Jati E captain that you've rubbed shoulders with a couple times.
We as I recall, we like that captain, right? We've done nice things. Well, I guess I'll send the information over to communications so we can send our greetings.
There are 3 ships, 2 are pursuing a third.
3 are pursuing. Three are pursuing the Jati ship.
Jati ship.
Yes, that's a bad. It's not just greetings that we're sending.
I mean, I don't have. I'm just Zarkin, so.
You would report that to the captain instead of sending it straight to communications.
Yeah, that would make sense if I weren't a Boolean. So I just send this information over to communications.
Communications just eyebrow and then captain.
You know what? I'll spend a threat for that. You send it directly to communications and don't loop in the Commodore. And then, and like a few minutes later, or like a minute later, Commodore or science is reporting that at the JSS Chiron is up ahead at red alert.
He turns to Zarkin. Mr. Zarkin, you inform me of this kind of situation, not send it straight to communications. Turns back to the viewing, to facing forward. Set it
kind of tilts his head.
Set it in intercept course to the ships. Communications hailing frequency to the Chiron.
Hailing frequency is open.
Chiron, I see that you have some company. Is there any worry from your end? And would you like us to assist you?
I definitely wouldn't mind the backup on this. these Akaru who have been bullying us for the past week.
Very well. We're laying an intercept course now. We'll be at your location soon.
As what warp factor? Maximum warp?
Yeah, get us there as quickly as possible.
Excellent. As the Stavanger surges forward. All right.
Yellow alert until we have full understanding of the situation.
Yellow alert, aye.
And have our
And
shields up. I don't want any pot shots hitting us on bare hole.
it's gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me. Okay, so 2 actions. Nemesis intruder alert. All right. There we go. All right. As we jump in at this standoff. You come in at about long range as the Chiron is in a standoff with 3 Erix class Akaru frigates. And everyone's at red alert. Everyone's pointing guns at each other.
Right. Comms, I want handling frequency with the lead ship of the Akaru as well as the Chiron.
Smith, go ahead and give me a control command and difficulty 1.
Command. All right.
And communication.
Diplomacy or team dynamics as a focus?
Team dynamics.
Okay. You can have a threat. All right.
Trying to... There we go. Alright, sorry. This is Captain Takarin of the Leon Riss. What are your intentions here?
I am Commodore Jonathan Smith of USS Stavanger A. I have come to mediate this situation, as it seems that both sides that should be cooperating are currently in a standoff.
Cooperating, and they stole from us. We did no such thing. We found that site fair Aaron Square.
What is the nature of this dispute?
Do you not know?
I have only just come from a situation on a former a colony.
The Jati have come into our space and lay claim into one of our historical sites. It's in a different star system, and we got there first. It's 5 light years from our home world, and it has historical significance to us.
Captains, there's a logical and peaceful solution to this situation. A joint effort into the study and research of the site, with the Akaru as the head, as they are culturally tied to it.
Oh, we're not giving up control of all of that at site. Not to these primitives.
Captain, I would remind both of you that you have standing cooperation with the Federation. It is in both of your best interests to not only work with us, but also with each other as well.
We're not gonna.
Referring to any species,
we're not gonna allow.
Primitive, and they are clearly very advanced spacefarers. Is insulting to them.
We're not gonna allow these. We're not gonna allow these lizards anywhere near our historical site.
If you both won't cooperate peacefully, then I will have to enforce this. Neither of you currently have a say. Neither of you can. If neither of you can cooperate on the site, then neither of you can go and research any of it.
Oh, so the Federation's making a unilateral decision on behalf of the Jati?
Not wrong.
What I am making a decision on is this site in particular, and the fight between the two of you. It is a cultural site to the Akaru. While you have found it, that does not
of note,
give you claim to it.
Of note, Smith, you're in the middle of deep space. There is no site anywhere nearby.
Yeah.
So the site they're referring to is probably like 20 light years that away.
Now, the fact that you both have chased you both have gone on this chase into deep space far away from any site, cultural or otherwise, indicates that you have lost complete sight of what would be important for this endeavor.
We didn't chase anyone. We are merely defending our borders against these intruders who wish to trample upon our legacy. What legacy? You just got out here.
Again, if you both cannot cooperate, including to the fact of acknowledging that neither of you are at the cultural site currently, and that you have chased each other halfway across this sector, neither of you should be investigating it.
Inside Command Diff 2, Captain. Or Commodore.
Inside Command Diff 2. Diplomacy or psychology as a focus?
Diplomacy.
Alright. Diplomat as a trait.
Diff 1.
And olive branch of the Shackleton.
Not applicable. This is figuring out something based on this conversation.
Yeah, okay. Alright. Never mind then. Onwards and downwards, you can have a threat.
Yay.
I am re-rolling that.
All right. And you had a trait, so gain of momentum. Based on the conversation, you don't think either of these two came from the site? This is an international issue that involves two governments. This has gone beyond this little spat here.
As I can understand it so far, neither of you are going to get your way in this conversation, as it is now beyond the scope of what two captains should be dealing with. This is an international issue, which means your governments need to be involved in the situation.
Yeah, I think that deserves a roll. Presence command. Yeah, presence command difficulty 3, because you are talking to a couple of like equivalents, and they're already heated.
All right. Diplomacy as a focus.
Mm-hmm.
Diplomat as a trait.
Yep.
Renowned and olive branch.
Yes and yes. Don't you feel special?
You can have a threat. We're full threat. We're full on momentum now.
Yep. The Kyron is the one who blinks first, and she disengages her weapons and starts backing off. There is a good there's a good like 30-second wait while you're waiting for how the Akaru respond, and they eventually drop their air weapons and go to yellow alert and start backing off. Go to extreme range of each other.
Now that we're starting to see things a bit more clearly, if the two governments wish to have a neutral location to meet on the exploration of these negotiations, Washington Station is open and available to them. Until such time, neither government should be committing any more acts against the other, and the cultural site should remain untouched until the decision by your governments has been made.
Vexel, the captain of the Chiron, and speaks up. I appreciate your hospitality, Commodore. Or I'm sure, or the Federation and could help us adjudicate this matter.
We are always willing to help our allies, and we have allies on both sides of this problem.
Very well. And with that, the Akaru leadership cuts off communication and turns around to go to warp. Back towards our space.
Captain, I suggest you make no further incursions into the Akaru sector, into the Akaru space.
Their space has expanded by 20 light years.
We will discuss that problem with them and their government. They are very young into all of this. Before that, there was a lot of difficulties adjusting to the universe as a whole.
Yeah, so where were you, Smith? Seems you've missed out on a lot in the past 2 weeks.
Dealing with a very old problem. Unfortunately, it's not one I'm at liberty to discuss the full ramifications of.
Well, permission to come alongside and we can both go to Washington Station together.
Very good, Captain.
I also wish to speak with you in person, if that's amenable.
Is this an immediate concern, or do you wish to conduct this on Washington Station?
Figure we have a day's travel. We can and spend it over dinner.
Very well.
All right, I'll see you then. She cuts off the comms.
Zarkin should invite them to the party.
As the Chiron kind of pulls up alongside you. Sorrel, you are on. Sorrel and Benix, you're on the bridge. Ship was at red alert, so you saw most of that.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Gotcha.
Barris kind of turns around and is off station. What do you think that's all about, Commodore?
The situation with the cultural site or my meeting with the captain?
Oh, culture site, I for one.
Based on the Akara's assertion that is their heritage, I assume and he just side eyes towards Venix. It's another of our current issues.
At least an altercation was avoided for now.
Like how?
Well, if one of those sites is tied up in a legal in a custody battle, it'll be very hard for us to gain access to it.
Unfortunately, that is the game we play. We have to abide by what is current. We must abide by who currently has control over the space that any of these sites are in.
Tayazin from Communications pipes up. You're not already picking sides, are you, Commodore?
No, I'm not picking sides. As I had tried to do with the two captains, I was endeavoring for a joint venture, but this is far beyond just simple two ships hunting for the same piece of land.
Zorkin and kind of elbows you throughout. What do you think, Commander?
Fascinating.
That's it.
That's just all right.
just raises an eyebrow, says fascinating. Doesn't elaborate at all.
As you do. All right. All right. New scene.
But if you were asking me what I actually think, I think this is potentially a thorny issue down the line.
It's already a thorny issue.
Mm-hmm. As Captain and Vexel walks into your conference room, Captain. Would you want this in conference room, or you want this in your ready room?
Let's go with the conference room.
All right. And she actually comes in and carrying a bottle of wine. Commodore.
Oh, we're not invited? Dang.
She wanted to speak with the captain alone. Now, what is the nature of this conversation?
Well, I kind of wanted to put my 2 cents in on the whole situation, but knowing you're probably going to tell me to shut up, aren't you?
Whatever you would have to say on it, it wouldn't do much good in swaying the opinions of your government. It's not for me to decide which way this should all go. As I said, I have allies on both sides.
Where's I going with this? Well, ever since we found our secret Tillicall site in our system, our forces have been in combing the Shackleton and looking for more, and we found one on a class N and planet a couple light years away from Akaru Prime, it seems. Kind of difficult.
The Akaru have become a lot more spacefaring. Their area of influence has expanded, and you unknowingly entered into their space.
Well, not me personally, but one of our ships, yes.
And
but
unfortunately, you had no indication of whether or not the Akaru have started actively leaving their space.
well, part of my government's hesitation is the fact that this site does appear to be a telecall site, and we have reservations about having the Ikaru who just got warp drive being involved in such dangerous technology.
But unfortunately, they are correct that it is part of their culture.
Also, I heard rumors that you beat back and deconverted it a Naquel. Yeah,
We
but
defeated, and I merely spoke to him, and he has begun questioning his own ideologies.
Kind of a big play.
It is a small one in the grand scheme, compounded by the fact that his leadership is not Naquel.
Oh? Something I should know?
If you're going to be dealing with the telecall sites, unfortunately, yes.
Wait.
Captain, do you believe in ghosts?
I mean, historically, my people will have a tradition about spirits of places and groups of people sort of embodying the soul of a collective, but not so much personalized as ghost, a la Scrooge McDuck. No, wait, that wasn't it. Ebenezer Scrooge? That story?
Yes. But that wasn't my question. Do you believe that those kinds of stories are true?
Not personally.
Then you best start believing, because you're in a ghost story now. The
God damn it.
telecall sites are home to countless spirits, many of which will seek to possess anyone that comes in contact with them.
Huh. Is that what happened in Jati Prime? Those were ghosts coming through?
Yes, those were ghosts that were trying to return to this dimension. And so far, every telecall site that we have encountered, ghosts have appeared. And unfortunately, it seems that the Naquel have also encountered them. As from what I have gathered from the Naquel that I have spoken with, their leadership was not acting like themselves after certain points. And anybody who questioned their leaders also stopped acting like themselves.
So someone is poisoning the spirit of the Naquel.
In a way, yes.
Well, I'm sure our governments can work together on this. I'll keep an eye out if I see anything. We have had skirmishes with a Niquel, but they have been pushing over the past month, getting deeper into our space.
If their leadership is as poisoned with this as I believe they are pushing for the Tillicol sites.
Tillicol sites like the one we just found around Akaru?
Potentially, yes. Without any further information on it, I can't accurately say if it is one of the sites that they'd be looking for.
Well, I would definitely suggest, as you put forth or to your government, that if this is such a contested piece of land, that I don't think the Ikaru who would be ready to defend it against such a force.
No, I can't say they would be. Nor would they be ready for the ramifications that would come with interacting with the site.
Oh well, I guess as you are correct that this is kind of out of our hands now. Perhaps this is best left in the purview of the diplomats. I'm just an explorer.
Yes, this is a very sensitive subject, and given everything we have discovered so far about these sites, it's best if we don't have people fighting each other over it.
There has been in talks in my government of coming up with some sort of Shackleton-wide conference or agreement in between all our nations.
I think that is a very noble goal to have. It's definitely something that could be pushed for.
Oh, and I got you this, and she hands over the a bottle of wine. It is Jati spring wine.
Yes, thank you for this gift. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to give you in return.
Consider it a thank you for saving my life and saving my solar system.
Very well then.
And with that, the scene closes. Any last minute scans and stuff before we hit Washington?
Nope.
I got some.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, now where is that map? Oh, that's right. All right. Let me check this map real quick. As about a day later, the Chiron and the Stavanger drop out of warp in orbit of Washington Station. There's a couple of civilian ships in orbit. Klingon Vorcha class. And of note, Romulan Dideridex.
Oh, really?
And she is uncloaked, so she's letting you know that you're there.
I'm not surprised that the Klingons there. The Romulan is definitely a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I am not surprised.
That's because you see Romulans everywhere.
Well, they are everywhere. You just don't see
I'm
them.
literally looking at Romulans on the view screen.
Yeah, I understand this. But you see Romulans everywhere, even when there are no Romulans.
And I'm right 90% of the time.
No, you're right 20% of the time.
20% of the time, he's right 90% of the time.
Dude, it's always the Romulans.
It's not always the Romulans.
Can we look up the Romulan ship's registry and see who her captain is?
Absolutely. Reason, con, or security. It is difficulty 2. You are kind of queuing another nation's registry. And then computers.
Yeah.
Computer security.
I would think Starfleet Intelligence would have a dossier or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you one threat. Computers as a focus.
Yes.
And +1 for exceptional.
Bad ship.
And we'll quash that with our generous momentum here.
IRW Cheval Captain Rael. Nice.
Do they have a reputation for being any particular way? Diplomatic, confrontational? It's a general.
General vibe check. One momentum.
Okay.
Diplomatic. Like they're kind of a flagship.
The Romulan Picard?
Yep. Romulan equivalent of Picard. This would have been Tomalak if this was like the 2360s.
Okay.
Now I want it to be Tomahawk.
I know, right?
Not too bad.
Actually, what?
We've got
Actually,
Tomahawk at home.
Wait, is Tomalak still alive in this era?
I mean, why wouldn't
I don't think he died. Yeah.
Romulans
Picard
are just
is.
as long-lived as Vulcans are.
You know what?
I mean,
see
the
it.
acrobat tool.
You know what? 2 threat. It's Tomalak.
Yay.
Okay. Diplomatic but wily.
Yes.
Yeah, he was still alive as of 2370.
No, it's 2380s now, so yeah, I'll say it's Tom Locke.
Oh, okay. So, according to Memory Alpha, his fate following the supernova of 2387 is unknown. So he's still around as of now, because we haven't hit the supernova yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, so it could be Tom Locke.
So the Romulans are here on some sort of diplomatic things. That's weird. I'm sure it means nothing.
I haven't been informed of it, so apparently it's above my pay grade right now. It's weird because I have the fourth highest pay grade of I have the second highest pay grade of the admirals that you guys have to currently deal with.
Yep. Well, I mean, do you want to check your intelligence, Commodore?
I'll check my messages, see if I have anything on Romulans coming to Washington.
Control command, difficulty 1, computers, yada yada.
Right. Let's see. Yeah, nope, I don't have any foci that really apply for this.
Chain of command, intelligence.
No, closest is logistics and strategy and tactics.
Logistics.
Okay. You can have a threat. And I got it.
You got it. As this is pulled up on your screen. All right. Sending you a message.
Oh god, he's here for Sorrel.
Still not surprised.
He's come to tell you that you're actually half Romulan. Your father's been lying to you this entire time.
I knew it. That explains the arm.
All right, we don't have to actually do soap opera stuff, you know. We can.
They're just annoyed that the Columbo was caught. Oh, Columbo got in the middle of conflict and is severely damaged, and the Romulans are annoyed that they were even there to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Well, if you don't do sneaky things right where we can see you, then we won't send ships to go make sure that you're not doing sneaky things. Oh, the Columbo is currently MIA.
Mm-hmm. But last report was she was severely damaged as warp was offline and communications and spotty. Several hull breaches. She got the shit kicked in.
Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, But we haven't been directly ordered to go and investigate that. And with the Romulans here, they're probably interacting directly with command, so it's above our pay grade for the time being. We're not going to mess with the Romulans. We're not going to let Sorrel mess with the Romulans. Everything will be fine.
Captain, I already have 3 plans developed to board the Romulan ship when you are ready.
No. Bad Vulcan.
Bad Vulcan, go to your room.
Bad Vulcan. Here's a science project that'll keep you busy for like 2 minutes.
Well, I've got 10 plans to destroy it by sabotage.
I'll turn you off.
Thrill
I don't have a
nod.
switch.
And
We'll exchange nods.
All right, we're at the station.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Comms ship-wide communication.
Channel opens.
Crew of the USS Stavanger, before I send you off to enjoy your shore leaves, I'd like you all to meet in the cargo bay for a announcement and other business prior to our disembarkment.
You get a couple confused icers from department heads, and they start bringing people in. We'll have everyone assembled in the cargo bay in 15 minutes, sir.
Very good. And Smith goes off to finish his preparations prior to going to do that.
Let's see. Do I have a cargo bay?
Cargo bay or shuttle bay? My brain couldn't flip between the two of them. Probably would be shuttle bay that we do this, since that's where most meetings for the ship-wide things would be.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get the crew here.
Yeah. Smith is going to be the last one to arrive in the scene.
As I'm gonna pay all my money for all of the extras.
We're blowing the budget.
We're blowing the budget on the extras.
Yeah.
Some familiar faces is filtering in. As Sorrel and Venix, you probably get there early and are kind of gossiping, like what's going on with the captain? What's this about? Yada yada. I'll just scuttlebutt around.
And after the rest of the crew has assembled, Smith comes walking in, full dress uniform, not the normal whites, fancy one.
The full
Wait, what?
fancies?
Full fancy.
How many exits are there in this cargo bay?
3, 8. Actually, technically 4. There's the 2 pedestrian doors. There's the lift elevator, and then there's the big door out the back. But hold your breath.
Which one am I nearest to?
None of them. Smith just taps on the mic a few times.
Computer, emergency transport.
Now, I know that there have been some rumors of an extra pip being on the table for someone,
No.
and I would like to give this speech in that regard. It has been both an honor and a privilege to be the one to handle this momentous occasion. I have known Sorrel for the better part of 50 years, and all through that time, he swore he'd never be a captain. It is appropriate that I be the one to handle this promotion to captain in the same way Montgomery Scott was promoted. Sorrel, I hereby promote you to Captain of Science with all the rights and privileges that come with it. And he just pins the pip onto Sorrel's collar.
All right. Am I required to give a speech?
Speech, 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 speech. Spending 2 threat. Speech, speech, speech.
I mean, don't think I didn't think of that, Benix. Esteemed crew of the starship Stavanger, honored guests, it is with profound reluctance that I stand before you to accept the rank of captain. Logic dictates that I acknowledge the confidence Starfleet and Captain or Commodore Smith has placed in me, yet I find no satisfaction in this elevation. My service as first officer is sufficient, optimal even, for the pursuit of knowledge and the maintenance of order aboard this vessel. Command, with its inherent burdens and emotional complexities, is a path I have neither sought nor desired. Human penchant for ambition is not mine. I am Vulcan. My purpose is to serve, to analyze, to ensure the triumph of reason over chaos. Yet I am compelled by duty, a force more binding than preference, to accept this role. I do so not for personal gain, but because the mission of this ship, its crew, and the Federation's principles demand continuity. I will endeavor to assume this new position with the same precision, impartiality, and adherence to Starfleet protocols that you've come to know me for. I ask only that you maintain the discipline and excellence that have defined our service together. Emotional displays of congratulation are unnecessary and frankly illogical. Let's instead focus on the task ahead. Live long and prosper.
And as you say that, Zarkin pushes a button and a big banner unfurls from the top of the and balloons and confetti. A big banner says, "Congratulations, Captain Sorrel." And dance music starts, and it is a full party. It just appears out of the wings.
Yeah. So Sorrel raises his eyebrow and a slight shake of his head, which for anyone else would be a full, both hands and face with head shaking.
Now then, with that out of the way, enjoy your shore leave.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! And literally, like, carts of food and tables those are brought out. There's a cake. A full party just materialized out of the wings here. Sorrel, your wife and child approach you. The station fires a 21 gun salute. No, the Stavanger fires a 21 gun salute as 21 photon torpedoes are launched out the aft.
Said, damn it. I say in my head.
Hey, those are expensive.
They're flares.
Fine.
They're blanks.
Fine. They weren't armed, and they were programmed to deactivate after a certain length.
I swore I didn't have anything to do with this. It's my beloved, she said, lying.
I suspect duplicity in that statement, wife.
Are those Sunak's handprints on that banner?
Don't say that. I'll spit up my drink.
A lie? Never. A surprise.
Because as you know me so well, I so much enjoy surprises.
Consider this as a social activity for the crew, then.
I suppose I must accept my fate. And be a what does it humans say? Good sport about it.
Indeed. Besides,
Well,
I think the 4 pips suit you.
well, it's
And
done.
don't worry, old friend. I'll probably have retired before they think of promoting you again.
Logic dictates that one accept one's circumstances as they are, and not as one wishes them to be.
I mean, you still get to be a science officer.
Of that, I am very much appreciative. Just must ensure that the Commodore remains aboard the Stavanger at all costs.
Then I'm assuming that's Commander Vennick's job, out to ensure that you would never have to take command. Isn't that right, Commander?
Eh,
No help from Bendix.
Hey, Sorrell's, the XO, he gets to go on all the dangerous missions.
Mm-hmm.
Sorrel will stay the socially appropriate amount of time, and then as soon as possible, retire from this unnecessary display of emotions.
There's like a 3 foot by 5 foot sheet cake that is that is just like a bust up to the neck, and it has 4 pips on it.
Oh my gosh!
There's a bunch of cupcakes that spell out 3 pip no longer.
Hang on.
There's a chocolate fountain.
Let's see here. Wait a second here.
Someone in the back has a grill and is grilling up meats.
I take 2 points of psychic damage.
1 point. You have resistance.
Oh, that's great.
Chat, no.
Oh no. Chat is deciding on ways to make this worse for you, Sorrel.
How could it possibly get worse? This is like his nightmare. This is the worst thing ever. For sure. Not only does he get promoted, but it's a big emotional party.
They're kind of doing it just. They're kind of doing it just to razz you, as you
I
do.
want to point out this is all Zarkin.
Oh boy! Thanks, chat.
No outward indication of his utter loathing and displeasure.
Chat did something, Sorrel.
On top of the rest of the festivities, is kind of opposite the sheet cake. There is a chocolate fountain.
No, not a chocolate fountain.
The only thing that could make this worse is Q popping up.
Oh my!
Martok. Actually, speaking of Q, Martok kind of comes up to you. Congratulations! It's an honor serving you, and I'll continue. It would be an honor to serve with you, Captain. He sticks out his hand for a handshake.
I'll just kind of raise my eyebrow at the chief and go, and then reach out and give him a 1 shake.
Does that make it worse that you created that guy and author's not even
I did appreciate that. Appreciated the irony.
Sarkin's like excitedly he coming up to you. So does this mean we get in more or missions? And there's now room in the command structure or in the science department. Hint, hint.
He's still the captain of science.
Yeah, which means there's room in for promotions underneath him. If you're interested,
Well, science promotions are now handled by Captain Siro.
And such promotions will be solely based on merit. Mr. Zarkin, you failed to report to the Commodore a significant situation this on your past duty shift.
Ooh. Presence Command Diff 1.
Leadership as a focus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna roll flat.
Hey, full up on momentum. Acknowledge, as captain, I really should have kept that in mind and done and informed the Commodore or of the two ships.
Cannot allow your natural instinct to complete a assignment to override your Starfleet duty to inform the captain of any significant development.
I had to ensure that this development was significant.
Yes, and certainly that was further investigation was warranted, but also a notification to your fellow officers. They too have the ability to assess and help such investigations. You must learn to rely on your fellow duty officers, Mr. Zarkin.
Aye, sir.
Excellent.
Am I dismissed?
Yes. Feel free to engage in the frivolity of this celebration.
And at the socially appropriate amount of time, I has probably lapsed.
And it's time to go.
As the party on deck 17 continues throughout the night. Alrighty then. The next day, you are all on Washington Station. As you are on the Starfleet deck with your station side quarters and everything, and Commodore, the Admiral has called for you and your senior staff have to join him in a meeting at 1000 hours.
Okay. will head there at the appropriate time.
All right. It's your senior staff, so it depends on like how many people you want to bring there. If everyone's coming, or you just
Did I
want to
miss
keep.
the promotion?
You missed the promotion by 5 minutes.
Dang it.
Yep, sorry.
I spent
Got
threat
hit
to.
with a party
Congratulations,
from
Captain.
I spent threat to have an actual party with a banner and glitter and a sheet cake and chocolate fountain. The whole works.
and Smith wore the
Amazing.
fancy dress uniform.
What a bunch.
Ooh.
Sorrel is now
Do you think in the
captain of
future we've invented glitter that doesn't stick to everything?
No, it sticks to more things.
Oh, fantastic.
Takes longer.
We
to
made
get
it
out.
worse.
So Sorrel hated every second of it, literally.
All right. Stavenger's
Hey,
Sport.
that's an emotion.
We have them. We just control them.
Okay. Captain Callisto, Captain Falkland, Captain
Well, if it's supposed to be a
Roanoke.
captain's meeting,
Well,
I think only me and Sorrel would be here.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we made it back to the Starbase in one piece, assuming we're celebrating on the Starbase.
Yeah, we
did
ran
have
into
one conflict
thing.
before getting to the Starbase.
ran
Oh,
into
what
the
happened?
So the Ikaru
Jati.
and the Jati are fighting
Yeah.
over a Tillicol site.
Yeah, so you know,
Oh.
normal diplomatic nonsense going on.
That's exciting.
We stepped in and slapped their hands and said, "Stop it."
No, that.
Yeah, like given what's like going on with this guy, author, I think only me and Sorrel would be present for this.
All right. Everyone else just has to wait outside and
Oh, is
listen
there-
in.
There's some high level briefing happening.
It seems like it's a captain's meeting.
This is
and
Captain's
there's
meeting.
nobody under the rank of captain here anymore. Captain Sorrel, because Captain,
Captain.
Admiral, Commodore.
I get this joke.
Oh, Captain. Yes.
All right.
You got to be of a certain age to get that joke, I think.
As
Unless we've already shared the meme with you.
yeah, as
Sure.
indeed, this is
Oh,
a captain's meeting in between all the ships that are currently at Washington Station, and you have several others that are radioing in and at a distance.
Yeah. So everybody here has a ship of their own, including Captain Sorrel of the Gettysburg. He's going to stab me for that one.
He's gonna stab you, man.
At this point, have we figured out the holographic, like, press conference table thing or teleconference table thing, where it's like the hologram of them is sitting at the table?
Possibly.
Because like Shinzon had it, and we're post Nemesis, so
Yeah, probably something like that. Okay.
We're just going to ignore the various times within the show canon where they showed holograms for meetings.
What is my ex doing here?
She is technically a captain of a ship.
Are we trying to torture me? Just absolutely torture.
Yes, Captain Sorrel of the Gettysburg, you are being tortured by your ex and being present for a meeting
Like-
of all the ship captains.
It's like some version of hell.
Gets promoted the next day. He has to see his ex
Mm-hmm.
at
it's
a captain
the
meeting.
secret 8th level of Dante.
Ace Inferno.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So these guys are being remote screened in. Notably, the captain of the USS Colombo is not here.
Isn't that our intelligence ship?
Yeah, which got badly damaged in a confrontation between Romulan and Toth. You missed that bit too.
Oh, right. That's the one. Isn't that the one that disappeared with a Romulan warbird?
Yep.
Yeah, the last thing we heard of it. The last thing intelligence heard of it was badly damaged. So we have no idea its current
And
status. And the Romulan ship is currently at the station under the command of Captain Tomalak.
A different Romulan ship, if was encountered.
Yeah, I'd see. Well, yeah, there's also
Yep.
a Romulan ship at the station that is not happy that the Columbo was interfering with them.
Very.
ah,
Guys stands at the head of the table. Captains, I suppose you've all heard now about our situation with the Romulans.
I'm not aware of the full details on it.
Approximately 2 weeks ago, the USS Colombo was tailing a Romulan derelict class as she was moving through the Shackleton, the IRW Ratown. And apparently she got involved between a meeting between the Ratown and a Toth vessel. The Colombo attempted to interfere and was badly damaged.
Intercede.
She attempted to intercede, yeah.
Most unfortunate.
Speaking as one of the captains, was that within her mission parameters? To intercede, or was it observation only?
It was observation, but at the captain jumped the gun, considering this of critical importance to make sure this meeting does not go down.
Any captain can react to information on the ground. That's why we have them.
Depending on the ship, he could have jeopardized the lives of his crew very quickly.
That's a matter.
Do we know what was of such critical importance that he needed to intervene, or he or she?
We lack that information, I believe, unless there's a further update of this briefing.
Most notably that the Romulan, the Imperial Romulan state, it is particularly upset with us and have enacted sanctions against the Federation. It was everything our diplomats could do to even pull them into at the table. They consider this a gross violation of their sovereignty and yet another example of Federation interventionism.
Without the Columbia's full report, I don't know that we can assess that.
Unfortunately, without the actionable information that the Columbo's captain had, we can't say that we aren't violating their sovereignty.
Which is why one of the missions is to recover the USS Colombo.
Is she adrift?
We do not know.
Missing in
action. We have our last known coordinates.
Absent evidence to the contrary, I would suggest we presume that the captain of the Colombo acted within the best interests of the Federation and within the confines of Starfleet regulations.
Yes, I'm sure, or that the Romulans would appreciate our inclination to believe our captains at all cost. That's helpful for internal politics, but external, we are going to need something a bit heavier to use.
I am unsure why we should concern ourselves with Romulan perceptions, which are which are imminently and inevitably malleable to the whatever they perceive their advantage to be. Translation: Romulans suck. Screw them.
Also, of note, it appears that the Akaru and Jati are having a custody issue over our Tilikal site. Captain Smith, I understand, and you had contact with the Jati over this.
I had contact with representatives of Jati and Ikaru over this. They agreed to back down on hostilities to allow their governments to enter talks about the site. I offered Washington Station as a neutral ground for it.
I suggest that one of the captains is here in this room who might head up diplomatic talks between them. If we can't afford our war or with Romulans, we certainly can't afford or to stand between the Jati and Akaru as they go to war.
Unfortunately, we are involved with both sides, as we have entered treaties with both of them. If we can avoid any conflict between our allies, that only benefits us.
Agreed. We also have Star in sector or Bravo 3 that is giving off unusual signals that unusual tachyon signals. That should be something of importance on our list. And there's also a Federation and anthropological team that has gone MIA on a recent pre-warp civilization. And most pressing on top of all of this, Captain Smith, or Commodore Smith, Captain Sorrell, if you'd like to brief us on what you have been dealing with for the past month.
We have been investigating sites of Tilikal technology. Up to this point, we have been referring to them as Forerunners. Both the people that had left behind this technology, as well as those that have been scratching at the thin veil between our realities, are of the same species. The events at Jati Prime were caused by the Tilikal trying to return to this dimension after having been banished for thousands of years. There are various sites throughout the Shackleton Expanse that held Tilikal vaults. The jail cells for the physical form of the I forgot the name of the banished.
Displaced.
The displaced. While their astral forms, their consciousness, was banished from this reality, they are currently trying to return to their bodies. Unfortunately, over the millennia, many of the cryo chambers that are housing them have failed, leading them to physically die while their astral forms have carried on and created spirits, ghosts, however you wish to term them in your own superstition. And they have gone crazy over the millennia, having no physical form to connect them anymore. There are some within them that claim that they want to peacefully return, but there are others who have become maddened by their banishment. It's far more dangerous now than when we set out originally, Admiral.
I must warn you, Commodore, or that we are our Starfleet. We deal in verifiable science and facts. We don't deal in superstition.
He pulls up all the information and images on the pad and sends them to everybody at the table.
Control Command Diff 1.
Let's see, logistics as a focus?
Strategy and tactics.
Strategy and tactics? Okay. And you can have a threat. And onwards.
You have to float. What would you like to spend that on? Like create a trait of the impression of this information.
Yes.
What kind of impression would you like to make?
The science backs up the myth.
Backs up the myth. Science. There we go. That's how we spell it. All right. Several of the captains and nod knowingly.
And
Turin raises an eyebrow.
I learned recently that the Jati are also investigating Tilikal sites. To mention that the Naquel and Nakul are also involved.
How so?
The Naquel have, from what I have gathered from speaking with a representative of their people, been possessed by displaced. And more recently, the Nakul have had a captain who has also been possessed by a displaced.
Do you know to what end?
Can give furthering their return to this reality is all I can imagine, as that has been their primary goal throughout this, including the spatial disruptions and incursions into not only Jati space but other areas of the Shackleton.
Captain and Morin speaks out. So we have two of the most genocidal and xenophobic species out in the Shackleton now playing along alongside Casper.
Unfortunately, yes. And these displaced of the Tilikal are still vastly more scientifically advanced than us, if anything is to be gathered from the Forerunner sites that we have had access to thus far.
Captain Sorrell?
Their return in such a state would bring disaster.
Captain Sorrell, your analysis?
From my interactions with the displaced, I am greatly concerned about the prospects of reintegrating them into our reality. While some of the displaced, from my assessment, are reasonable candidates for reintegration, others are clearly not. And should they be reintegrated, the vector of potential disaster is potentially incalculable. However, their continued efforts to brute force their turn to our reality present a substantial structural threat to this reality and every multiverse. Thus, we're kind of screwed. is the message.
So-
No apparent good options.
Captain Kosa speaks up, but it seems to me that these are sapient beings that are trapped and in distress. Don't we have a duty to help?
They're also criminals that were imprisoned lawfully by their government.
An injured beast may be trapped and in no way responsible for its condition, and yet simultaneously present a mortal threat to any that approach it or would seek to render it aid. Take that analogy.
The Admiral considers this. Well, it is obvious to me that the situation in the Shackleton is slowly growing out of hand. We now have two people that were already of anti-Federation anti-Federation standing, and now aligning themselves as with beings of infinite power. And they are desperate enough to actually follow through their plans and possibly powerful enough to enact them. What is our next move?
Some percent of which are mentally deranged and incapable of being reasoned with.
On that note, I have taken the liberty of reactivating a former officer, and with that, walking in on two new metallic legs lumbering into the room, supporting himself on two crutches on either hand, is the Cation Captain Patau, former captain of the Zealith, whom you've rescued several months ago.
Is that the one from the time we lost the first Stavanger?
Yep.
Yes.
He's been in therapy for a long time, man.
Oh,
Yeah, I
what?
presume the crutches are temporary since he's got new legs. As he acclimates, right?
They don't appear to be. They appear to be like full support crutches that go halfway up the forearm. He kind of lumbers into the room. Captains, it's good to be back. Commodore R. Smith, I haven't had the chance to shake your hand yet.
Smith stands up and shakes the captain's hand.
Thank you. Between you and your crew.
Peace and long life, Captain.
Live long and prosper.
exchange salutes.
He gives a salute. So, Commodore, what's our next step?
Our immediate step is to ensure that the Jati and Akaru do not continue their squabbles over this particular telecall site, and we also need to acknowledge that the Akaru are beginning to expand their area of influence. Up until recently, they had been limited to their home system, but the Jati have informed me that they have expanded at least 20 light years out of there, and very well could continue to their expansion.
Commodore, should we consider the possibility that this seemingly local and organic dispute has a more nefarious and directed origin?
Shh.
Are you referring to the state of several members of their government, or towards their...
I'm referring to the fact that this conflict could serve certain interests in the Shackleton, and that perhaps we shouldn't assume that it is merely a again, organic local dispute as opposed to one that was instigated by external forces. We should at least consider that hypothesis.
Surely, Captain.
Possibility, but their former spiritual leader, as well as the leader of their government, was very interested in the displaced. So them having a vested interest in a telecall site goes back to that as well.
Point of order.
I don't question the. Oh, sorry. I was responding to Smith, but I was going to say that I don't question the authenticity of the conflict. I question whether its timing and whether it was precipitated by external intervention, and I think that we should investigate that as a possibility.
Okay. Any focus I have that applies to this?
Diplomacy, strategy, and tactics.
Okay, let's go with diplomacy. So, diplomat as a trait.
To fun.
You can have a threat.
Yay. Gain 2 momentum. You don't get the impression that Paladin Wawedi he's an important leader, but he's not a governmental leader of the Naquel. He's just one of many. He's not the singular leader of them.
Wait, where are we going with the Naquel? I was talking about the Akara's expansion.
Oh. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the Hikaru and
we're talking about the Hikaru's expansion, and Shirel is suggesting that an outside influence is pushing that.
Okay.
I'm saying we shouldn't presume that someone's not pulling the strings here. We should maybe accept that as a potential alternative explanation for what's going on.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to say this task was you are aware that the Akaru government kind of had a major shakeup a couple months ago, so they might not be in the most stable of governmental forms.
There's still the matter that the Akaru government is still stabilizing after the announcement that their leader no longer had the ability to continue on as he had and would be unfortunately dying soon. They had to do a lot of reorganizing in order to create a government that would outlast him. So this could be natural progression in their thought process, expand in order to give themselves more resources and territory in order to expand civilization.
In which case, it would be particularly vulnerable to a strong, charismatic leader.
Unfortunately, I would agree on that. We don't know who unfortunately I don't know who is currently in charge of the Ikaru government.
Presumably so the Irax until he passes.
Yes, but
the current clone.
He's also starting to give powers over to the Ikaru themselves.
Well, and I mean, that's an unprecedented transfer of power. They've been relying upon the Irax for, well, what they thought was the unending and eternal rule of their benevolent dictator, which turned out to be a clone that was being manipulated behind the scenes by the Hikaru governmental elites. I mean, that's kind of the definition of instability and shocking revelation that can lead to any kind of potential direction. Could lead into a good direction, could lead to something a whole lot worse. I mean,
and it would be in the Federation's best interest to ensure that this particular domino falls in our favor.
Yes. On the other hand, we have the Jati, who had their own internal political struggle that we were involved in. I mean, not to put a too fine a point on it, but we were kind of the CIA in both instances.
I mean, to be fair with the Jati, we at least were working with them more often than not.
Just like
Ikaru, we kind of like, you need to leave. We're just gonna have we're gonna have people still on the planet, but secret.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we seem to have a lot of work ahead of us. Commodore or Smith, I'll be compiling a list of all of our points of interest. Yes, you may distribute them as you see fit.
I will give the missions to the best ships in order to handle them.
I would assume so. And at this point,
So who's going to be assigned to South Vietnam? I mean, the Jati.
I think we should send Captain Sorrell in Gettysburg.
Oh no.
You also have like 9 other ships you could send. Just saying.
I know, but right now he opened himself up to it.
All right. Meanwhile, outside, Venix and 3.
Yes, hello.
You are probably like camping outside the captain's meeting, just hanging out, waiting for the captain to get out and figure out what's going on.
Sitting in one of those like weird benches that we have in the hallways with no back.
Yep.
Hang on, so we were just told, oh, we have an important staff meeting, and then they walked in and locked the door?
Yeah, it's just captains. All the captains of Operation Endurance.
Does that mean that like this hallway is also full of a bunch of like first officers and various?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Also, you are really quiet, 3.
Am I? Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I know why. It's because I am on my laptop instead of my computer, so I haven't boosted the audio.
Yeah, I have you boosted it plus 200%, and I'm like, I can't go any higher. I'm giving it all she's got, Captain.
Alright, hang on. Working on it. How's that?
Much better.
Sorry. Yeah, for whatever reason, it was set to 44% for my input.
Alright. But yeah, you and like a bunch of other officers are kind of milling about, waiting for the captains, and there's scuttlebutt going around of like, I wonder what's going on in there. Have you seen this? This thing's happening. What happened to the Colombo? And yeah, three in Venix. You have a scene together.
I mean, 3 is just kind of sitting and listening. This seems to be a font of information. Whether or not it's accurate, that's another story. But if he's just going to keep talking about all the local rumors and things, he's just going to listen in.
And here without either being involved or there being some type of security risk.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me let's do Insight Security difficulty 2.
That sounds like a Venix roll. I don't do insight.
Or
I don't do it very
Security,
well
I'm
either.
fine with. It's the insight bit that's the problem.
Right.
I guess given the situation and you are gathering information and kind of chewing over, I'll allow reason.
Thank you.
Reason for both of you. One person lead, the other
Okay.
assist.
All right, so I've got 15 on reason security. What have you got?
16 plus, I get a bonus.
Oh, yeah.
Success on that, so.
Because you got exceptional reason. Lead the
Right.
way.
All right. And +1 to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I do not. Oh, pastime learning for my focus.
Yes. All right, 2 momentum am generated.
Remember, he's got the bonus
Oh, one more.
because exceptional reason.
Yep. 3 momentum. All right. Yeah. You are hearing some of the crew of the Roanoke are kind of like angry and upset with themselves because they were supposed to be following some Toth ships and they just spent 3 weeks searching around and didn't find anything, and wondering in what they're up to. Maybe they got up to some new cloaking tech or what have you, and how did they get past them into this Romulan meeting? Some people are noticeably upset and concerned about the Colombo being MIA. It's never good for morale to lose a ship.
Yeah, a whole starship is missing. That's never going to be a good time.
Yeah, there's definitely a malaise about at the cruise. There's also a talk that some Starfleet security on one of the outer colonies is kind of folding under or Niquella Vance, and so they've been fighting a ground war over a colony, and they're getting pressed down on real hard.
Mm.
And just in general, there are reports of more pirates, and it's kind of floating around and harassing merchant ships.
And could we not get a handle on this pirate problem?
I don't know. We haven't managed to nip in the bud over Somalia yet.
Point made.
All right. Any questions in particular, or anything, or anything you want to follow up on?
Yeah, I want to drop by the Security Ops Center and see about the 2 rumors of the Colombo and the the security team that's being hammered by the Niquel. See what this story is on that.
Yeah.
Uh, I also have a couple of errands.
Okay. If it involves a knife, I'll get to that next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, there was the knife, and then also it occurred to me, are there still like that liberated Borg intelligence service running around?
Yes, there was.
Okay, I'm gonna go meet with those guys.
All right. Let's see. Venix, what questions would you like to ask in the security ops? I'll just let you spend momentum on it.
Basically, what info do they have on the Colombo, and what's the situation with the security team that's getting hit by the Niquel? Or is there reinforcements on the way? Something like that.
All right. The Colombo basically got in a 2v1 fight involving a Daenerys and lost. Yeah, she dropped in and tried to go toe to toe with a Daenerys. It did not go well.
Reminder: this is that was a Saber class that tried to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just about to ask. That was a saber, right?
Yeah.
That just seems dumb.
Well,
right? That's
well, behind the scenes, they rolled a nat 20, so shit went down.
Right.
Okay.
Things went
Okay.
pear-shape.
So if we find
did not properly calculate for. Oh yeah, those are things that the galaxies take on the regular. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
I took a
the risk was
calculated
calculated,
risk, but
man,
boy,
are they bad at math.
yep.
It's gonna be a miracle if we find like bits of space dust after that.
Last you heard is she is intact, but she definitely has like several severe breaches to hull. Her engines are down, and her communications was all sorts of tore up.
Well, I mean,
Is there-
props to the Romulans for showing restraint.
Right. Yeah, they should be atoms by now.
So many bits of disruptor dust.
No, they didn't show restraint. The Colombo actually punched back and bloodied their nose. She got a few licks in before, or she retreated.
Well, I guess the Saber is part of the anti-Borg
Right.
line of
Yeah.
escorts.
However, that escalates this whole situation to where the Romulans are now super mad at us.
Yeah, but they were supposed to only observe and not interfere.
Yeah, what were the Toth giving
We
them
don't-
that they decided
don't
they
know.
needed to jump
We
in
don't
and
know.
fight?
We don't
We
know.
don't
I
know.
know.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking that to the galaxy.
Yeah.
Are
And
there efforts being made to recover the Colombo?
Presumably, we're going to assign somebody to do that.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna be
that's
doing.
that's for the tactical campaign. So you have to assign a ship if to go check them out. You could
Okay.
pick that up if you want.
Above board, we're going to decide what ship's going after it. In game, Smith is assigning a ship to go after it.
Yep.
Okay.
As far as
And then I guess the other situation.
There's a prolonged ground combat happening over a colony, and a platoon of Starfleet security has been kind of hammered in for the past 2 months against a Niquel. And they're just trying to defend this kind of arboreal colony of 5,000 people.
Oh, is this what's it called? The installation whatever type situation where you've got the one poor garrison of officers
Yep.
just
Yep.
stuck there.
This is the one poor garrison of officers. So sending a ship, like just sending an air support would help a lot, and also just supplies and refreshing the platoon.
Rotate them out.
Given
Yep.
that it's then a qual of sieging them, sending something that can punch back is definitely preferable over something smaller.
Well,
What about
we've got a-
3's XBs?
yeah. I want to see what I hear from my connected hive mind friends.
Maybe
Interestingly,
they can mercenary out there.
Approximately 2 weeks ago, Prudence and Azatar affected a breakout. No one
What?
knows how.
Out
Oopsie.
of Starfleet, out of Starfleet custody.
And they stole a ship.
The XP kids weren't in custody. They were in an orphanage.
Oh well, that makes that easier. Hang on, they stole it. What kind of ship?
We still had.
Is
I'd
it?
say orphanage. We still had security personnel watching the non-compliant kids.
Well, yeah, but still. What ship did they steal?
One momentum. A fast Corvette, so something like scale 3, maybe scale 2.
Oh,
Now we've
those
got Rogue,
rascals! I love them.
We've got Rogue XP kids and Azatar just out there in the universe.
Azatar apparently went willingly with them. Prudence has a pet now.
Yeah.
You just want us to fight Mechagodzilla. This is what this is. Above board, you're upset that we keep cheesing the Mechagodzilla fight, and you want us to get punched.
Fortunately, Three's brother and a majority of the kids are still here.
Yeah. Hang on. Was it just Prudence and Azatar?
Prudence, Azatar are and about 6 other XBs.
Yeah. So the ones that won't comply with like, you're free. You don't have to do that anymore. It's just the ones that this is our purpose. Fuck off.
Weren't those the ones that I taking direct controlled?
Yeah, they
Like
didn't appreciate that. They did not appreciate that.
Yeah, but you can't control them forever.
Yeah.
That's the point of what we were doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So it's fine. 3 will just be on a away mission, and then those guys are going to show up, and it'll be fine. It's weird being on the other side of somebody's roaring rampage of revenge. Normally, we're the ones doing that.
I know. I like the twist.
Look on the bright side. Just look on the bright side. Your brother's still here.
This is true. My brother is still here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Cool. So they affected a breakout. Any other information?
What question would you like to ask?
Anything about the Romulans that we don't already know?
No, that's pretty much it.
Anything about the Toph?
One momentum. The Toth have been. Let's see. The Toth have been working with if someone, and they've been in getting shipments of artifacts. There's some sort of artifact smuggling network, but they're not sure who's leading it.
Artifacts from whom? Which
The
which
Shackleton.
species? Are we talking about, like...
The Shackleton in general.
So they're just
Every Shackleton
artifact hunting now?
You realize that includes the Tilly call.
Yeah. Yeah, I was afraid of that.
And it is at this point that Venix, you receive a private message. It's text only.
Oh, okay. What does it say?
It is encrypted.
Those are always fun.
Oh, great. Phoenix is getting recruited by Section 31. Hooray!
Well,
If he is,
The key is the key is Zarkin's stepfather, not.
What? What?
what? Say it again.
Zarkin's stepfather. No, I'm not. It's from Barton.
Okay.
Oh,
All
Barton!
All right. My brain just shorted out there.
Yep. You had to refer to something that only you guys would understand.
It took me a second to get the context there.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, it was an out of context quote, so absolutely. Yeah, Barton and lets you know that A, he's on the station, and B, he found out who he was getting in that equipment for. Originally, he was making a shipment to someone of importance, but there was middleman and stuff. The Aegis Pack blew up his shipment and blamed him on it.
Mm-hmm.
But he
I
found
remember
out.
this.
But he found out where that shipment was originally supposed to go.
So, I'm guessing he's not going to just text us that.
No, he would like to meet you at the Klingon bar.
Ah, yes, the covert contact bar
Yep.
with the booth in the corner.
Well, of course it's the covert contact bar. Everybody's yelling so loud you couldn't eavesdrop even if you tried.
Precisely.
Is it just
Alright,
Phoenix, or is 3 getting dragged along for this?
You could get dragged along.
Heck yeah.
I think we need to switch to our civvies,
Yep.
aka leather jackets.
Yep.
It's leather jacket time.
Leather jacket time. As you're on your way out, walking down the hallway is a small, frail, pale man.
Oh. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there's more. Phoenix, you smell
What?
ozone.
Gotcha.
Oh. Oh.
Of course he got possessed.
Oh. When?
He is heading straight to the captain. This is Director Whitford. He's the Civilian Oversight Committee of the Shackleton, and he hates Starfleet.
Oh, okay.
And, Q did give you a hint. He's a
Uh-huh.
Mayor Whitford's a ninja.
Oh, right. Yeah. I do remember that.
And ozone smell, does that mean he's been
Possessed.
possessed by a displaced?
He is possessed by a displaced.
Does my dark passenger know anything about who might have possessed him or anything like that?
No, I don't know what's going on, but he's definitely possessed.
Is he making a beeline? Hang on. Can any possessed recognize another possessed?
Yes, that's what the smell thing is.
Okay, so I know him, he knows me.
Where that? Yeah.
The last
He's
time this
not-
happened, his passenger tried to kill an archaeologist.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, Terrell.
He doesn't seem to notice at this point.
Oh, so he's not coming to us. He's just walking past.
He's walking past you and he's going towards the captain's meeting.
Is he allowed in that?
He is now. He opens the door.
Hey, wait, hang on. Oh, he's the civilian oversight
Right,
Yep.
he's the director,
for
so
Starfleet.
He's a senator.
Isn't he?
Yep.
does Sorrel know that he's possessed? Or is that
Sorrel,
just something I realize right now?
that's something you realize right this second.
Okay. I'll use my tricorder to send a text message to Sorrel and the Commodore and advise them.
I'm
That
going to
he
make
has
this
been possessed by
daring security difficulty 2.
Oh boy.
Okay, daring security 2. All right, go ahead and take 3 threat and those computers as a focus. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm. Sending a text message covertly.
Oh, can I assist? Just like casually, like
Yeah.
step in front of him while he's typing.
Something like that. Presence security. I am acting natural.
I was hoping to do daring
You wanted
because if it's
this.
presence, I get auto.
You said I'm
Comp
standing
3.
in front of him.
Has to be daring.
Yeah, so I can do daring.
Mm-hmm. As you stand in front of him, I am acting normal. I am not suspicious.
Nothing to see here.
Move along.
We're trying to be a person. Let's carry on.
Yep. To momentum, that message is sent.
Okay.
As Whitford walks in, Smith and Sorrel, you get a text message through your communicator. What is the context of that message, Venix?
Basically, just Director Whitford has been possessed by a displaced.
Simple enough.
Yeah. And
He's
I
a
don't know any
ghost.
more
Shoot
than
him
that.
now! Shoot him now! Shoot him now!
Shoot him now. Shoot him now.
Smith just gives Sorrel a raised eyebrow look.
And will Gaius, as how pleasant of you to have this meeting without me. Yes, this was a Starfleet matter. I figured, or only Starfleet personnel. I shall be privy to it. So when were you gonna tell me that there were dangerous archaeological sites throughout the Shackleton? When it became irrelevant to civilian matters. Well, it seems to me that at these telecall crypts are a existential threat to the Federation. Therefore, as of this moment, I
have to stop you there, Director. How did you become aware of these sites? This has so far been a Starfleet matter, and we haven't discussed it with anybody outside of this room yet.
I've been in appraised of your reports, Arts Commodore.
I've only just gotten back and have not made full reports on any of the sites. I've spoken to the Commodore of the Admiral of the Forerunner sites, but up till now we've been referring to them as displaced and Forerunner, not Telecall. And my reports, such as they were, would only refer to them as displaced.
Okay, I would not have made that mistake. I'm gonna spend 2 threat and reverse that, if that's okay.
Rude.
I was hoping we'd have a cool
Really?
pull off the sunglasses moment there.
No. We're not there
I made
yet.
a cool speech and everything.
Spending 2 momentum to counter that advantage, you messed up.
Nope.
Yeah.
As of this moment, I am declaring that any forerunner or site that has been found and shall be disposed of by photon torpedo.
That seems incredibly drastic of the situation, and does not solve the problem overall. If we destroy the sites, it will be more dangerous for us in the long run. I cannot, in good conscience, go along with this. Not to mention that these sites could be on planets that house native members of the Shackleton.
Are you going to decline a direct order or of the Federation Council?
He stands up. I'm going to decline the order of a madman who sees only destruction in his wake. Is that going to be your legacy, Director? Destruction.
My legacy is to protect the Federation.
And how is defending the Federation dooming it to the destruction of a mad ghost? That is all you will create. You will create more mad ghosts who will tear this universe apart in their wake.
So be it.
Quick point of order. He said order of the Federation Council. Did he get approval from the Council for this? Because I sincerely doubt that the Federation Council condoned the orbital bombardment of multiple worlds.
That would require a check.
Might I recommend, if I may speak as the voice of one of the captains in the room, Director, with all due respect, you say refusing a direct order of the Federation Council. Can we please see that order direct from the Federation Council approving this action? Or are you merely speaking on behalf of them as yourself?
I am here with the authority of the Federation Council.
Until I see an order directly from the Federation Council, I too will have to not listen to you, sir. Your authority means nothing if your order goes against everything we stand for.
Smith, I'll allow you to make a presence command difficulty 3.
All right. Diplomacy or psychology as a focus?
I don't think it's diplomacy. You're trying to get the captains to ignore an order.
You don't have treason as a focus?
Team dynamics as a focus.
Team dynamics,
Ooh.
yes.
All right.
Sorrel, if you want to jump in on this, you may assist.
I'll relay that applies to this. So, you know what? Full boat. And onwards.
Goodness gracious.
Oh my gosh!
Holy.
Hey guys, we have a ransom threat. We can outspend him.
Uh-huh. Okay, first of all, ow. Sorrel, did you want to assist in this mutiny?
Bury him.
Sorrel?
Not muted. But he's also
That-
not talking.
He's not muted,
was
he's not
typing.
talking, and he was just typing.
Oh, hang on.
All right. Stupid earphone.
Oh,
Technology.
Ah.
Great.
technology troubles.
Smith, what's your speech?
Everything I have seen up to this point given the fact that there are dead forerunners within the chambers that we have dealt with underneath those sites, destroying them will not solve any problems. It will cause vast amounts more. Not to mention that we don't even know if our photons would even penetrate the site. And immediately committing to a path of destruction.
Can you hear me now?
It doesn't sound very safe.
Yes.
Nor would it sound within the bounds of Federation, nor civilian oversight. It's not our place to destroy the cultural sites of those that came before us. Nor is it our place to destroy anything within the Shackleton that we don't have absolute reason to.
The Federation would have kept herself safe if they would have just shot the Dominion in at first sight.
That would
And
have
if we had
started
shot
the war faster.
Look at this table, Director. There's members from numerous species. If the humans had shot first, we would not be sitting at this table with the Vulcans. We would not be sitting at the table with any of these species. Would you rather us go back to an isolated Earth? That is all that destruction causes.
Captain Sorrell, your assistance.
I pull out my Type 2 phaser and I say, Director, I have found your argument fascinating. Here's my rebuttal. I believe you will find its logic compelling, and I fire.
Okay. First things first, Smith, holy crap, you have a lot of momentum.
Yep.
Let's deal with that, and then I'll get to you, Sorrell.
Okay. Let's see here. Everything that we have discussed, well, let's see, two for this meeting in general has shown that what Wickford is suggesting would be catastrophic. There's no science behind destroying sites. Let's go with two more. Federation history shows that firing for unjust reasons ends in bloodshed on both sides.
Absolutely.
The Vulcans and Andorians know that full well.
And you have a Vulcan and a Dorian here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he also he lost credibility when he said we would have been safe if we shot the Dominion first, because anybody with half a working brain can tell you that would have just started the war faster.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good. We spent off the float.
Yep. All right, and discredited on Whitford. All right. So, Arel, I am gonna say that this is unnecessarily lethal, or unnecessarily violent. So reputation ding for this. I'll also be taking a threat for this action. Would you like to continue?
Wait. I mean, unnecessary? I gotta push back on that, author. I mean, I know he is possessed. He just came in and threatened an entire civilization. I mean, I wouldn't call what Picard and Riker did to Rennick an unnecessary use of violence. And they put on lethal. I'm just trying to stun the guy. So I gotta push back on that. I say that's ridiculous, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do agree with Vinix that I should absolutely be demoted to commander.
No.
You get a
Once
commendation. You
we
get a commendation for ending a very credible threat.
no. Once we show that he was actually possessed, Scooby-Doo style, you're gonna get promoted again.
No,
You're gonna get promoted to captain of science for the entirety of the Shackleton region.
Commodore of Science.
Wait, not presence
Oh,
command.
no.
What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm sorry. That's control security.
Presence command for your phaser, please.
Well,
mean-
captain of science.
Alright, control security.
Yep.
Alright, Alright, this is just my type 2 phaser. I don't think I've got anything, so I'm just gonna... Alright, I'll spend 2 momentum, 1 threat to get to 4. Can Keen Eye lower the difficulty?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Alright.
Diff 1.
I'm gonna say I do not have a focus here, and I'm gonna argue for archery. It's a type 2 phaser. It's not my bow.
It's not bow.
So here we go. Yep. Hey, got it.
As you stand up, go ahead and give your line again.
Yeah, I stand up. Director, I have found your argument quite fascinating. Here is my rebuttal. I believe you will find its logic compelling, and I fire my phaser.
As you fire off screen, we end tonight's episode on that.
Oh no.
Dun, 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 dun.
Da-da-da.
That's quite the cliffhanger there, yeah.
That's quite the cliffhanger. I couldn't ask for a bit of cliffhanger.
Sometimes it's gotta happen.
Thank you, Sorrel. You are shooting a congressman.
Civilian.
Yeah, civilian
Yeah,
congressman.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, once we
On
reveal
the
that he
surface,
was
it looks
possessed.
bad. Yeah, exactly. Let me explain. No.
You
Let
better
me
be
sum up.
Reveal he's possessed. Sorrel gets a
Pretty much.
commendation and another check mark for being promoted to fleet captain of science.
Oh boy! And on that note, we end tonight's episode. Thank you to our awesome players tonight. I guess it's treason then. Is this treason? I don't know anymore.
Treason, then.
It's not treason if you're firing on somebody who's possessed.
True. He could be argued he's not acting in the Federation's best interest. Be sure to catch us next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. here on Twitch to catch our next adventure on the frontier. Thank you to our awesome players tonight. Music provided by Kevin Macloud. You can check out his royalty-free music at incomptech.com. As always, we're forever grateful to Motifius for giving us the tall ship, and to Gene Roddenberry for giving the stars to guide us. Until we meet again, go out and find your adventure.